Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're tackling something that's been generating a lot of buzz lately, AI-powered trading.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a hot topic.
And, we always love to explore these cutting-edge developments. We actually got a ton of requests from you guys to take a closer look at a specific trading robot called AI Gen 12 EA.
Interesting. I've heard a little bit about it, but I'm excited to hear more. What's caught everyone's attention?
Well, from what I'm seeing, it claims to use some pretty advanced AI GPT-4o and ATFNet to analyze markets and make trades.
Ah, those are some powerful technologies. GPT-4o, for example, is known for its ability to process and understand information, like really well.
Right, like way beyond what we've seen before.
Exactly. So in the context of trading, GPT-4o could potentially be used to analyze news sentiment, maybe even social media trends, to get a sense of how the markets might react. Like let's say there's a major political announcement that spooks investors, and GPT-4o picks up on that surge of negativity.
Oh, I see. So it could predict a potential dip in a certain currency or stock based on that sentiment.
Exactly. It's all about anticipating market movements. Now, ATFNet, that's another interesting piece of the puzzle.
Definitely. I was reading up on it, and it seems like it's really good at analyzing time series data.
Yeah, it's a specialized neural network that's designed to identify patterns and trends. Think of it like this. You feed it historical price data, and it can theoretically predict future price movements based on those patterns.
That's pretty wild. So it's like a pattern recognition machine specifically for financial markets.
Exactly. Now, how did these two technologies come together in this AI Agenda 12 EA? What's it claiming to do?
Okay, so get this. It boasts about being compatible with prop firms right out of the box.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty big claim.
Right, no extra kits or configurations needed.
And for those who might not be familiar, prop firms essentially provide funding for traders who can demonstrate consistent profitability.
They're kind of like talent scouts for the trading world.
Yeah, and they have pretty strict requirements because they're putting their own capital at risk. So for this EA to claim compatibility with prop firms suggests they believe it's sophisticated enough to meet those standards.
That definitely adds a layer of intrigue.
It does. It implies a certain level of robustness and reliability. Now, what other advantages are they highlighting?
Well, let's see. They're really emphasizing the fact that the trades it makes in backtesting, like when you run it on historical data, perfectly match the trades it makes in real-time trading.
Oh, that's all about building trust. Backtesting is a standard way to assess how an EA would have performed in the past, but the real test is whether those results hold up in live trading.
Right, because the market's always changing, so an EA needs to be adaptable.
Exactly. And if there's a mismatch between backtests and live trading, it could signal that the EA strategy is either over-optimized to fit past data or not robust enough to handle the constantly shifting market conditions.
They also mention avoiding something they call parasitic strategies, although what exactly those are is anyone's guess.
That's a bit vague, isn't it? It makes you wonder what they're referring to. Maybe strategies that exploit loopholes or rely on market manipulation. Hard to say without more information.
Agreed. It definitely raises some questions.
It does. So we've got this AI-powered EA, a claim of prop firm compatibility, and a promise of matching backtest results with live trading. What are people saying about it? Have you come across any user reviews?
Oh yeah, and they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Some users are absolutely ecstatic, claiming massive profits. Like one person said they turned $100,000 into almost $1 million in just a few months.
Wow, that's quite a return.
Right. But then you have others who are reporting big losses and questioning how accurate those backtests really are.
It's important to remember that user reviews can be very subjective, influenced by individual experiences and risk tolerance. Some might have gotten lucky, others might have taken on more risk than they could handle.
It's a good reminder that trading always involves risk, no matter how sophisticated the technology.
Absolutely.
So we've got these exciting claims, a mix of user feedback and a lot of buzz around AI. It's a lot to unpack.
Definitely. Let's dive into some of those user comments and see what else we can uncover.
Sounds like a plan. Let's see what people are really saying about this AI Gen 12 EA. Okay, so we're back. And we're knee-deep in these user comments about AI Gen 12 EA. One thing that really stands out is just how much the experiences vary. Some people are like over the moon, while others are Well, not so much.
Yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag, but I guess it's not entirely surprising, right? I mean, even with advanced AI, the markets are unpredictable.
True, but you'd hope for a bit more consistency, especially with all the hype surrounding this EA.
I get it. People are looking for that holy grail, a system that guarantees profits.
And I think that's what makes some of these comments so concerning. Like there's one from, let me see, Daniel Kendi Hirokawa de Lima, who mentions that the robot sometimes sells at the bottom of a trend. And you know what that means?
Ouch. Yeah, big losses.
Exactly. And they even go on to say that the gain-loss ratio can be pretty unfavorable. Like you might need multiple winning trades just to recover from a single losing one.
Yeah.
Not exactly a recipe for peace of mind, right?
No, not at all. That raises some serious questions about the EA's risk management strategy. If the potential for losses outweighs the potential for gains, that's a red flag, especially for, traders who are more risk averse.
I mean, it's almost like the EA is prioritizing those big wins over consistent performance.
Yeah, kind of like swinging for the fences every time, which can be a risky approach, especially in the long run.
It's interesting, though, because it seems like the developer is at least trying to address some of these concerns. They've released a bunch of updates, patching bugs, refining the news filter, even adding a recovery system for those times when a trade goes south.
That's good to hear. I mean, it shows that they're at least actively working to improve the EA. Responding to feedback, adapting to the market. That continuous development is definitely a positive sign.
Yeah. It does suggest a certain level of commitment, right? Like they're invested in making this thing work.
Absolutely. But it also, highlights the fact that this technology is still evolving. Building a trading system that consistently generates profits is a huge challenge.
Oh, definitely. Even with AI, there are no guarantees.
Exactly. And it's easy to get caught up in the hype, but we need to remember that this is still a work in progress.
Speaking of work in progress, let's talk about those prop firm settings that are built into the EA.
Where?
Because, some users are reporting some pretty impressive results with those.
Right, right. Like Queenshaw GD mentioned meeting profit targets set by prop firms.
Yeah, and Stephen Boog, too. They both seem to be doing quite well with it.
It's definitely intriguing. It seems like the prop firm mode is attracting a certain type of trader, someone who's looking to, prove their skills and maybe even secure funding from a prop firm.
But here's the thing that's been bugging me, and maybe I'm just, I don't know, overthinking it. But if this EA is truly as advanced as they claim, with AI and all that, why is it being sold for such a low price?
That's a really good question. You'd think a cutting-edge trading tool like this would command a premium price, wouldn't you?
Right. And it just makes me wonder about their motives. Are they trying to get wider adoption? Or maybe it's a loss leader to attract customers to other products or services?
It's hard to say for sure, but it's always wise to be cautious when something seems too good to be true, especially in the world of trading, where, promises of easy profits are often a red flag.
And then there's that whole marketing thing, the limited number of copies and the price going up soon. It feels like a classic scarcity tactic.
Yeah, creating a sense of urgency, encouraging impulse buys, it's a common marketing strategy.
Which is why it's so important to stay skeptical and not get swept away by the hype.
Exactly. Do your research, weigh the pros and cons, and make informed decisions based on facts, not emotions.
Okay, so let's pause for a moment and take stock of what we've learned. We've got this AI-powered EA, AI Gen 12 EA, a mix of user experiences, some potential red flags, and of course the inherent risks of trading. What are some key takeaways for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is that AI is not a magic bullet. It's a tool that can enhance your trading strategy, but it's not a replacement for knowledge, experience, and sound risk management.
So we need to approach it with realistic expectations.
Absolutely. And I'd also emphasize the importance of thorough research. Don't just rely on marketing materials or a few user reviews. Dig deeper, understand the EA's strategy, look for independent analyses, and try to grasp how the technology works.
And what about those back tests? Are they reliable, or should we be viewing them with a critical eye?
Backtests are valuable for assessing historical performance, but they can be misleading if they're over-optimized. What worked in the past might not work in the future, and the market is constantly changing. So be aware of the limitations of backtesting and don't rely solely on those results to make decisions.
So AI is not a magic solution. Research is essential, and backtests should be taken with a grain of salt. What other insights should our listeners keep in mind?
Well, I think the most important one, and it's worth repeating, is to understand the risks involved. Trading, even with AI, carries inherent risks. No system can predict market movements with 100% accuracy, and losses are inevitable. So manage your risk carefully and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Those are some really valuable points. Now, how do we apply all of this specifically to AI Gen 12 EA? Should our listeners invest, or are there too many red flags?
That's a decision each individual has to make for themselves after carefully weighing the potential benefits and risks. We've presented the information, highlighted the pros and cons, and shared some insights from users and the developer. But ultimately, it's up to you to decide what level of risk you're comfortable with and whether this EA aligns with your trading goals and your philosophy.
I think that's a great point. We're not here to give financial advice or endorse any particular product.
Exactly. Our goal is to provide information, spark critical thinking, and empower you to make informed decisions.
So we've covered a lot of ground, but there's still more to explore.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll bring it all together, synthesize the key takeaways, and offer some practical advice to help you navigate this exciting but often complex world of AI-powered trading.
Okay, so we've really gone deep on this whole AI-powered trading thing. Explored the potential, looked at the risks, and even dissected a specific EA, this AI Gen 12 EA. Now I think it's time to bring it all together.
Yeah, let's synthesize what we've learned and give our listeners some practical takeaways as they navigate this really fascinating but often complex world of AI and trading.
Sounds good to me. So where do we even begin? I mean, we've covered so much ground.
Well, I think the most important thing to remember, and this really came through in our discussion, is that AI is a tool. It's powerful, but it's not magic.
Right, right. It can enhance your trading, but it's not going to suddenly make you a millionaire.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not about handing over the reins to an AI and just, expecting profits to roll in. It's about integrating AI into a well-defined trading strategy.
And understanding its limitations.
Absolutely. And speaking of understanding, that brings us to another really important point. Thorough research.
No, yeah, we can't stress that enough.
Right. Don't just skim the marketing materials or, even just rely on a few glowing reviews. You really have to dig deep.
Look for independent analyses, read reviews from trusted sources, try to understand how the technology actually works.
Exactly. Knowledge is your most valuable asset in this space.
And while we're talking about knowledge, I think it's worth bringing up backtesting again. It's a common way to evaluate an EA's performance, but we saw how those results can be, well, a little misleading.
Yeah, backtests can be manipulated. It's possible to tweak settings to get amazing results on historical data, but those results, they might not translate to the live market.
So view backtests with a critical eye. Don't rely on them solely to make your decisions.
Exactly. Now, I think one of the most crucial takeaways, and we've touched on this throughout our deep dive, is to really understand the risks.
Trading, even with AI, it's risky.
Yeah, and, no system can predict market movements with 100% accuracy.
So losses are inevitable.
Right, so you've got to manage your risk, never invest more than you can afford to lose, be prepared for the ups and downs.
Those are some really solid points to remember. Now, we talked a lot about AI Gen 12 EA, and I'm sure some of our listeners are wondering, should I invest? Are there too many red flags? What's the verdict?
Well, the honest answer is we can't make that decision for anyone.
Right. We're not financial advisors.
Exactly. Each individual has to weigh the potential benefits and risks, consider their own financial situation, their risk tolerance, their trading goals. Does this EA align with all of that?
We've presented the information, tried to highlight the pros and cons, shared some insights from both users and the developer. Ultimately, it's up to each individual to decide.
And, bringing it back to that comment we discussed earlier, the one questioning why such a powerful AI would be sold for such a low price, that's a perfect example of why critical thinking is so important.
Always question those claims. Be wary of promises of easy money.
Exactly. Do your due diligence, ask tough questions, trust your instincts. If something feels too good to be true, it probably is.
So where do we go from here? We've explored AI, analyzed the specific EA, emphasized research, risk management, critical thinking. What's the final message for our listeners as they, continue to explore this world of AI-powered trading?
I think the key is to remember that this is a rapidly evolving landscape. There are a lot of opportunities, but also a lot of potential pitfalls.
It's exciting, but it can also be really overwhelming.
Absolutely. So stay informed, stay curious, and always question the hype.
Well said. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of AI-powered trading. We hope you found it informative and insightful.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time, happy trading, everyone.